All right, moving on to Boyle's law. So Boyle's law only relates pressure and volume together. So I'm sure you've noticed that all of the following laws that we're going to see are based on this one main combined gas law. All right, so Boyle's law, P1 V1, P2 V2. Let's write that formula. You will know that you have to use this formula because they will only give you information about pressure and volume, and they'll tell you that the other one is constant, or they won't even mention the other units at all. So let's find our variables. We need to find pressure and volume initially and finally. P2, V2. All right, so the pressure of a 300 milliliter sample of oxygen gas, so I found my initial volume, 300 milliliters, is increased from 0.98, so this is my initial. So from 0.98 atmospheres to 1.78 atmospheres. And they want you to find what is the new volume. So they want you to find V2. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in my numbers to my formula. So P1 is 0.98 times V1, which is 300, is equal to P2, which is 1.78 times V2, which we don't know, so I will leave it as V2. So now I just solve this equation, 0.98 times 300, which is equal to 294, and then 1.78 times V2. So because I want to solve for V2, I have to divide both sides by 1.78 to get V2 by itself. 294 divided by 1.78 is about 165.17 is equal to V2. Because we are dealing with volume and my initial volume unit was milliliters and that stays the same, my final answer is 165.17 milliliters. All right, next. Circle the region where the dot would move if the volume decreased. How you figure this out is you have to know the relationship between volume and pressure. And that goes for both of these, so we'll get there in a bit. So volume and pressure have an inverse relationship, inversely proportional. What that means is if volume increases, pressure is going to do the opposite. It's going to decrease. If volume decreases, pressure is going to do the opposite. It's going to increase. So in this case, they're telling you that volume is going to decrease. So my volume, this is a dot that they're talking about, my volume needs to go this way. Because my volume is decreasing, I know that my dot cannot go to the right here. So it is not going to be neither region 2 or region 4. If volume is decreasing, my pressure is going to be increasing. So volume is going this way, my pressure should be going up. And the region that has this trend happening is region 1. Because pressure and volume have an inverse relationship, if one decreases, the other one has to increase. So same logic. What happens if my volume increases? So if I take my little dot and I have to increase the volume. Because I need to go to the right, I know that region 1 and region 3 will not be used. Also, because I know that volume and pressure have an inverse relationship, if volume increases, I know that my pressure has to decrease. If volume increases, my pressure has to decrease. And the region that has that trend is region 4, because my pressure needs to decrease on this y-axis. And that is it for your Boyle's law.